I was not expecting that. What wasn't I expecting? I'll give you that in a second. Good morning. Welcome to the National Briefing. My name is Kelly Nash. I could have said I wasn't expecting the ICE agents to start filling in and relieving TSA agents at the airports to help clean up that mess. I wasn't expecting that, but I love the fact Tom Homan confirmed it again yesterday that is exactly the plan right now. Here we are Monday morning, and I'm expecting now TSA agents to have help with the ICE agents to help relieve these lines, maybe catch a few illegals trying to travel nationally. I don't know. I'm sure the Democrats are going to be in freak-out mode this morning. They'll be running to microphones to complain about this as well. But that's not the point that I was trying to make. I was not expecting a CNN report to come out. I'm assuming it came out Friday because I saw it Saturday afternoon. It apparently CNN, in a major shift in policy, has decided to just start telling the truth. Yes, I know, jaw-dropping news. CNN is telling the truth. They're reporting what they really find. And I think this young lady's name is Tamara Kablawi, something like that. So anyway, I've never heard of her, but maybe I will in the future because she does a great report on CNN about the underground missile cities throughout Iran. And I've taken her entire news report and edited it down to about 60 seconds to just give you the highlights.
An Iranian underground missile city buried deep inside a mountain. Dozens of these subterranean fortresses are spread across the country. It's proof that Tehran has been preparing for a war just like this one for years and possibly decades. Examining satellite images from 27 underground bases, including 107 tunnels. What we found was evidence of a rapid-fire American-Israeli campaign to trap a large number of Iranian munitions underground, blocking entrances and exits to these bases. We found that the U.S. and Israel bombed at least 77% of the tunnel entrances that we were able to review satellite images of. After the 12-day war with Israel last June, Iran repaired missile production facilities, an industrial complex linked to uranium enrichment centrifuges, and subterranean medium-range missile sites, like this one, where Iran reopened access points to those munitions, again starting to repair them just 48 hours after that war ended.
I wonder how many CNN viewers watched that with their jaws just wide open. Trump was telling us the truth? We did bomb the Iranian nuclear facilities into oblivion, but within 48 hours they started rebuilding them, just like Trump said. And they have all these underground ballistic missile cities that they've been building for decades, and they continue to try to build out their ballistic missiles program in order to serve as a deterrent to anybody being able to ever inspect their nuclear facilities. Yes, that's what Trump was trying to tell you. You know, Donald Trump didn't need to take this on. You know, when people say it wasn't an imminent front, what am I quoting over here with the WHO? It wasn't an imminent threat. It was a legitimate threat that their ballistic missile capabilities were soon to be at a level where nobody could tell them nothing. And Donald Trump puts his entire presidency and legacy on the line. Of course he understood gas prices were going to go up. Of course he knew Americans were going to be against. Americans, we are some of the most self-centered people on earth. We care about. How many years have you been hearing? It's all about the economy. Keep it simple. It's all about the economy. That's all we care about. We just care about our economy. How am I doing personally? That's all we care about. A lot of countries are not like that. Japanese are not like that. Chinese are not like that. Iranians are not like that. A lot of countries are not like that. But here in America, we're all about our own comfort. How are we doing? Trump is not an idiot. He knows that. So he said, I'm willing to risk it all to help prevent future problems. And by future, it could be 3, 4, 5 years. It wasn't going to happen under his watch. It wasn't going to be like all of a sudden in the next year or two that we find out what Iran has been building. It'd probably be about somewhere in the middle of the next administration. But Trump said we're going to fix it now. Donald Trump recognized one reality, that most of D.C. is a swamp whose only concern is getting reelected. And the way to get reelected is to lie to you, the American people. And they lie to you and say everything's fine. Don't worry about it. They artificially prop up stuff in order to try to make you feel more comfortable. That's been happening for decades. So Donald Trump said we're going to fix the problem at the base level when it comes to Iran because we don't want Americans being killed. We also don't want our European allies being killed. As weak as the UK has become, as weak as France is, as weak as all of Western Europe, we don't want them killed, so we're going to help them out as well. And that's what Trump is doing. And I'm hoping, well, obviously, he's only got a few more days left of this, right? Because once the 60 days hits from the time the military operations began, he's going to need to get congressional approval, and they'll never give it to him. So, and the Iranians know that, so they're hiding as best they can. They're just figuring if we can wait it out. But maybe, just maybe, they've ticked off their partners, their neighbors in the Middle East to the point where it will continue with or without the United States. You know, when you talk about oil, look at production. The United States is the number one oil producer in the world. Now, we unfortunately built out all of our refineries before we knew what kind of oil was here, because that's why we have to import about 67% of our oil because we don't have the right refineries. It will cost trillions probably to refit or redo those refineries. So in the interim, we're going to just keep importing oil. That's why we do that. Russia, then Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, one of the wealthiest nations on earth, at number 3. Canada, they're not too bad at number 4. Actually, when you look at like 4 through 8, they're pretty much the same as far as how much oil they produce. Canada, Iraq, which is improving. China, they've had the long history with communism, but they've been recently trying to pivot to more of a Western capitalist style. Then Iran, then the United Arab Emirates. When you look at the UAE, that's one of the wealthiest nations on earth, and they're almost basically right next door to Iran. They produce the same amount of oil, yet one is dirt poor, the other one is wealthy beyond most people's imaginations. Why? Because one chose a Western style. The other one said we're going to remain committed to whatever form of Muslim that is, that not only kills Westerners, hates all Westerners, hates all Jews, it actually even hates other kinds of Muslims. They'll kill anybody and everybody. And so all the money goes pouring into that. And that's one of the things that the left has never grasped. It feels like Barack Obama and others, that if we just put in enough money into an economy, that those people will come around. They're not coming around. They're never coming around. They were born into this. So now that's not to say everybody. I mean, look, in Iran, if you look at polls, most of them would show you about 80% of the country is like, I hate the regime. But the 20%, you got 90 million people there and 20% love it. Well, if 20% love it and it's 90 million people, you're talking about 18 to 20 million people there that love the way things are going. They want to kill you. And if you go outside, look, if you had an anthill out in front of your house and those ants were attacking your house nonstop and you just went out and you stepped on a bunch of them and you knocked over their anthill, that anthill is going to get rebuilt in the next day or two. And those ants are going to keep marching, whatever's left. They're going to keep populating and they're going to keep marching. It's the same thing with Iran. They've been doing this now since 1979. Well, they've been doing it since before 79. 79 is when they got into power. You have to wipe out all of the leadership. And that's what we're working on. I'm very confident that Donald Trump has got that. We're going to get that Strait of Hormuz open. We're going to bomb the crap out of them, and we're going to take over what we need to take over. But again, that's to help our Western European allies. It helps us in the long run as well. I'm not minimizing the amount of help that it comes to. It helps the world is what it really does. But I am so fascinated about this CBS-CNN merger now because – you know, on Friday, they had the big announcement that CBS was going to fire a bunch of their news employees. Then they, a little later on in the day, said we're going to close the CBS radio news outlet. That's like 700 affiliated radio stations that they're going to those radio stations have to get a new news outlet. And then Inside the CNN story reporting on it, it says Paramount is awaiting regulatory approval for its deal to buy Warner Brothers, which would include CNN, and may lead to a future combination of CNN and CBS News. This is fantastic news. CBS and CNN may actually become legit news outlets rather than just some sort of propaganda crap that they've been peddling for years.
In a culture drowning in spin and censorship, this is your lifeboat, the National Briefing.